All right, so let's have a look at this set. Let's read the information first. So this is a set of a pie chart. So there are 5 employees A, B, C, D, E at various positions in a department of Ranbaxy C Pharmaceuticals Incorporated. The HR department of Ranbaxy C prepared the following 3 pie charts indicating the breakup of their gross salaries, the taxes they pay, and their net salaries. Now we have been given a formula that net salary is equal to gross salary minus tax paid. So basically what information we have information about 5 people, A, B, C, D, and E. And we have 3 pie charts indicating the breakup of the 3 different components of salary amongst these 5 employees. So let's check, for example, if you talk about gross salary, so the total gross salary, whatever it is, A contributes to 40 by 3% of the total of the gross salary being distributed. B contributes 80 by 3% of that. C contributes 100 by 3. D contributes 10%, and E contributes 50 by 3% of whatever it is. All right. Similarly, we have information about tax paid and net salary. Now the problem is here. The problem here is we don't know what is the total gross salary, total tax paid, or total net salary. But one thing, in any case, in any scenario like this, what we have to assume, or you can say the method we go about, we need to understand that if you have not been given the data, exact information, then you have to assume it, right? Now we have been given one formula, net salary equals to gross salary minus tax paid. Whenever we have a pie chart, a question with multiple pie charts, we need to understand the relation between the 2 pie charts or 3 pie charts we have been given with, right? So we can go solve this question by different methods, but before that it's advisable to have a look at the question first, because question will tell you how to start the approach. All right, so if you just consider the first, the first question, it says, what is the gross salary of E if A pays 2000 as tax? Now we can see that we have been given with a condition that if A pays this much of tax, then what will be the gross salary of E? That means we don't have any idea about the exact gross salary, tax paid, or net salary of either A or B or C or D or E or anyone. And we don't even know about the total gross salary, total tax paid, or total net salary, right? So now basically we can go by 2 different ways, right? So see, if you just observe it properly, you can get to know about this thing that if you don't know exact gross salary, tax paid, or net salary, we can at least have some relation between them, because this formula, this net salary equals to gross salary minus tax paid, this will hold true for everyone. This formula will hold true for A, B, C, D, E, and total as well. So the total gross salary minus total tax paid should be equal to total net salary, of course, and the gross salary of A minus tax paid by A will be equal to net salary paid by A. So we have 2 ways by which we can go for this question. The basic method, of course, we can have a look at the second question as well. In this question also, they are talking about the ratio. So one thing is for sure, we don't have the exact number. Now let's try to find out the relation. So the first way can be, we can take the total gross salary as X, total tax paid as Y, and total net salary as Z. Now we can have this in form of equation, right? So we can say like 40 by 3% of X minus 8% of Y is equal to 72 by 5% of Z. What we have written? We have written it for A, the same formula, right? Similarly, we can write it for B as well, C, D, E as well, everyone, right? So basically, there's one rule which we all should know, that if the number of variables or unknowns is equal to the number of equations, then we find a unique solution. If the number of variables is less than the number of equations, then we find infinite solutions. And if the number of variables is more than the number of equations, then we don't find any solution. In this particular case, we have just 3 variables, but we can make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 different equations, like X minus Z, Y equals to Z. This is also true. So by which, solving this, we can find out the ratio between X, Y, and Z. And once we know the ratio of X is to Y is to Z, we'll be easily able to calculate or answer both the questions. So this is a traditional method by which we can go for it. But I'll prefer to solve it by using another method. You can try using this method again, and I'm going to explain the other method about it. So let's do it here. All right. So what we can do, see, since we have the data, why I'm going for this different method, I'll tell you that as well. The kind of values we are having here, 50 by 3, 40 by 3, 80 by 3, 100 by 3. So if you solve it by the method which I mentioned earlier, it will make it a little complicated. The question will get a little complicated because the calculations will be difficult, right? In order to make calculations easy, what we can do we can solve this question using this method. So let's find the ratio. I'll write it here. Let's calculate the ratio of gross salaries of A is to B is to C is to D is to E. Now, so what will be the ratio like? We can write 10 as 30 by 3. Now we have 3 by 3 everywhere. We can remove it. Now 40, 80, 100, 30, 50. We can remove these zeros as well, right? So it will become 4 is to 8 is to 10 is to 3 is to 5, right? So this will be the ratio of A is to B is to C is to D if we talk about the gross salaries. Similarly, if we have to calculate the ratio of tax paid of A is to B is to C is to D, so we can write, we can divide all of them by 2. So it can come out, will come out to be 4 is to 16 is to 17 is to 3 is to 10, right? 28. All right. Okay. Now, similarly, if we have to calculate the ratio of net salaries, so how we can go about it? We can remove, this is 16, by the way, if you are not able to read it properly, 16. So we can write it like 7, we have 72 by 5, 128 by 5, 166 by 5, 54 by 5, and 16 can be written as again 80 by 5. So we can remove all the by 5s and then we can divide it by all of them by 2. So it will come out to be 36 is to 64 is to 83 is to 27 is to 40, right? So now what we have the ratios of gross salary, tax paid, and net salaries of A is to B is to C is to D is to E. Now, since we know that if, let's take the example of gross salaries, the gross salaries are in ratio 4 is to 8 is to 10 is to 3 is to 5. So all these will be multiplied by some constant. Let the constant here be X, let the constant here be Y, and let the constant here be Z. So can we say that gross salary of A is equal to 4X, tax paid by A is equal to 4Y, and 4X minus 4Y will give you 36Z, which is basically the net salary of A. Similarly, we can write it for B as well. So gross salary of B will be 8X, tax paid by B will be 16Y, and this will be net salary of B will be 64Z. Now we have two equations. Let's try and solve them. So this is the equation first. This is second equation. Multiplying the first equation by 2, we will get this 8X minus 8Y is equal to 72Z, right? All right. Now, if we have to solve it, so how do we go about it? What we can do, we can find the ratio between X is to Y or Y is to Z, anything. So we just cancel out the X thing here. So it will become, this will go minus 8Y will be equal to minus 8Z, or you can say Y is equal to Z. That means the ratio between Y and Z is 1 is to 1. So if we put it in any equation, let's put it in the first equation, we can write the first equation again as 4X minus 4Y equals to 36Y, because Z and Y are equal. So that will make it 4X equals to 40Y or X equals to 10Y. That means the ratio between X is to Y will be 10 is to 1. So the final ratio of X is to Y is to Z will be 10 is to 1 is to 1, right? Okay. Now how to solve the question? So in this question, we are being asked, what is the gross salary of E? That means the value of 5x. We'll write it here. Gross salary of E will be 5x. If A pays 2000 as tax, now we know the tax paid by A is 4y. So 4y is equal to 2000. That will make y equals to 500. And we know the ratio between x and y is 10:1. Then that means x will become what? 5000. Now since x is 5000, we have to find the value of 5x. So the answer will become 25,000. All right. Moving on to the next question. The ratio of tax paid by B to net salary of D. So we know tax paid by B is equal to what? 16y. We'll write it here. Or net salary of D is equal to what? 27z. Now y and z are equal. We'll cancel it out. So answer will directly come out to be 16:27.